How do you rate the communication strategy around COVID?
It was one of the successful crisis that was handled through communication. In crisis communication also, when there is that information vacuum, people tend to identify with the loudest voice. People trust when you talk about your product.
Yeah.
And we have seen other big brands, they have a bad backlash, including McDonald's. And because they were like, we have never seen your CEO eating at these premises. It's very critical to have a social media team to work hand in hand with the communication team.
Actually, the two are inseparable.
Yeah, they're inseparable.
Welcome to yet another episode of the Executive Review Podcast. My name is Rick Okinda, and today I'm pleased to host Simiyu Nalianya, who is a communications professional. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Rick. Grateful to be here.
Yeah. We are going to start with a few quick fire questions that will just get us softly immersed into the topic of the day. Headphones or loudspeaker?
Headphones.
You don't want to listen to your music with everyone?
No, headphones.
TikTok or LinkedIn?
There we go with the LinkedIn.
Bixby or Siri?
Siri.
So you are not an iPhone. You are an iPhone user.
Yes.
I am a Samsung user. Sneakers or loafer?
A loafer.
You are not a sneakers guy. Radio or television?
Radio.
Radio.
Yeah.
Ah.
Radio, podcasts.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Radio is actually the real mass media communication. So we'll be getting into today's conversation, and we'll be looking at communication. I want you to just help us know what you do every day and help people out there to understand what is communication. Who is Simiyu Nalianya professionally?
I'm a communication expert. I manage brands, and I love to create conversation, especially on the emerging trends. And I will say I eat and sleep with tech.
You eat and sleep with tech?
Yes.
Now, I'm just getting interested in what you wanted to become at grade 6, because at grade 6, nobody in my class wanted to become a corporate communication expert. But here you are. What did you want to become at grade 6?
I wanted to be a doctor.
And then what happened in between?
I will say a curriculum change, also cluster point, pushed me to study nutrition, not very far from being
medicine.
A doctor. Practice it for a few months, then shifted to communication, where I'm currently in.
So it is safe to say that your academic background is in nutrition and probably food science, but your current practice is in corporate communication and brand management on digital platforms.
Yes, studied BS in food science and nutrition, primary degree, then shifted to corporate communication in masters.
You are a master's student in that?
Yes, I'm a master's student at Daystar.
Yeah.
Expecting to graduate so that I can practice it fully.
But already you're practicing it, and that's the most important thing. I want us to just understand the roles and responsibilities of someone with a career title like yours. What does a communication expert do on a normal day?
We have different kinds of communication. Now mine is corporate communication. It's more of corporate. So I will say we manage a team, because when you're in a corporate, there's a social media team, there's a production team. So it means that we make sure that all our social media are up and running. Our website is up and running with current and relevant information. We make sure that our bosses, that is the management, also our staff, they disseminate the right information. So we just make sure that we manage the reputation of the company, and also our managers' brand, like the CEOs. We just make sure they have the right talking notes.
In meetings.
Yeah.
And in public functions, in press releases, in investor engagements.
Yes.
Because communication is actually what builds the brand. I think people really don't understand a lot about the behind the scenes of communication, what it takes to put together a public brand image, and also to create feelings, a mood board about a certain brand. Maybe you can just help us understand the science and and the cooking of a brand and making sure that a brand has life out here, that messaging is done right, and even crisis is properly managed.
When previously, when somebody will say they're in communication, you'll think it's messaging. Pick this information, send, pick this content and share on WhatsApp or social media. But there's so much that it's done behind the scene, the same way you have said. Because number one, if you're in an organization, first you need to understand what is the mission and vision of the organization. So that will inform you, either organization or a business. After you understand that, you have to craft now, we call it communication strategy. Communication strategy for a company, or let's say for a company. Now, this is the strategy that you are going to use to get your content on the ground, like documenting footage. This is the strategy that you'll use in writing the newsletter. These are the strategy that you'll use on identifying the right social media platform, let's say on TikTok or on LinkedIn. For example, if your brand is associated with the youth people, you don't expect to push it on LinkedIn or on Facebook. It will be more on TikTok and Instagram.
So you must understand generations and platforms, and you must also understand platforms and what they're built for.
Yeah.
You just mentioned that you'd pick LinkedIn over TikTok because LinkedIn is more of what the profession is more about professional branding and management and placement and positioning and networking. And TikTok is fast news, fast entertainment, everything fast. And that also makes me to inquire more and to know what is the role of a social media manager in the modern day times, and how is it different from the conventional ways in which we know a communication manager before social media?
Before social media peak from that is 2015 and beyond. So that
not 20, I think Facebook. 20. Okay, let's just say 2015.
Yeah,
before that,
TikTok,
it was experimental. Before
yeah,
TikTok.
Yeah, let's say. Yeah, social media happened before TikTok.
Before TikTok.
Now people started seeing the importance of social media. Like, we need to be on social media. Your boss will tell you, we need to be on Facebook, we need to be on X.
Yes.
So that time, it was just seeing, posting, and you track how many people have liked my photo, how many people are retweeting, or how many people are engaging with my content. But when you check now after TikTok come and caused that disruption, we have something we call algorithm. These are the ones that have been designed to push your content. Okay, so now you have to track. Before then, social media, they were just operating maybe with the marketing team, but now social media and communication officer or manager, they are in line, because as a social media person now, you can stand in a boardroom and explain that these numbers, we are going to use it to make a decision. So it's no longer about posting and liking. It's using the data and the number to make a decision. So that tells you that for an organization, it's very critical to have a social media team to work hand in hand with the communication team.
Actually, the two are inseparable.
Yeah, they're inseparable.
They're inseparable.
Especially you have said crisis communication.
Yeah.
And when you check crisis, organization exists, and we normally say we just expect the crisis to happen. And it's very important even to have templates, like
scenarios.
Yes, scenario.
Yeah, you simulate possible crises.
Yes. For example, I am in the field of health, climate change, and agriculture.
Academically.
Yes. So, and also what I do day to day, some of the brands.
Oh, you also practice that?
Yes. For example, let me pick a brand like in health.
Yeah.
For example, what can be the worst case scenario is a patient who has been abandoned, or a patient unfortunately died in your hospital. That can be a crisis.
It can be a crisis.
If it's not well communicated, especially if it's a prominent person. Or you run a business, you sell phone. What can be a crisis? It can be one of your product, it was faulty. So how can you communicate that? So that is not only the work of the social media managers. You have to sit as a social media manager, as a communication team, and also with the management, so that you know, in case this happen, what is the channel that's going to be followed and what is supposed to be communicated. So it's not all the traditional way of just posting. You post, monitor, and you use that data to make informed decisions.
To make informed decision.
Yeah.
And public perception matters. You must control it.
Yep.
You must be able to make people feel positive about the brand,
Yeah.
and also connect with the real community, because again, communication is about community,
Yeah.
and you want to engage with community. You've spoken about social media managers and communication managers being one and the same department. How can these two collaborate to make sure that communication is built in an organization right from a planning perspective to the strategy of the organization, so that the whole company or organization is riding on one structure, is riding on one strategy in terms of communication? I'm saying this because companies run on strategies. If you look at finance departments, they run on strategies. They would say, we are going to invest on a certain capital expenditure because this is part of our strategy. If you look at how companies run HR departments, they would say, we are going to hire this number of people because we want this level of output and this number of man hours in the business. It's all about strategy when you're handling departments like HR, finance, and even ICT, people buying equipment and going technology, innovations. That is all strategy. So how will you link communication to strategy?
The same way we said we are moving from the old tradition now to the new way. So we'll talk about the social media team, the communication, and also incorporating the board and the management, because these one are inseparable. So for social media team, those I will say they are like your eyes on the ground.
The eyes on the ground.
They are the eyes on the ground. They are the people who read comments. They see how a post receive a reaction. So they come with this information and they tell you that from the brand that we released or the product that we released in the market, this is how it's doing. This is the response that we are getting. So for you as a communication team, you pick that information and you pass it to the management. Now we have something we call ESG. It's very critical with your product.
What is ESG?
It is environmental, social, and governance. So it's very important for your product to meet that, because it comes with ethics. For example, how your organization operates. Okay, today you wake up as a board and you say we are having financial constraint, so we want to lay off some people. You know, that will start some conversation that might affect your brand. So if the communication team is not part of that discussion in the board, it means that they will receive an update like, hi Simiyu, the board has decided that we are going to retrench some people and we need to communicate this. And some brands are very big outside here, so the layer of people needs to know why so-and-so has been released.
Yeah.
So if the communication team was not there to help you to navigate around this, to come up with the right information, it can backfire. Same case with a product. For example, you are releasing a product, but this product has an environmental hazard. You know, some companies are after profit. So as a communication team, they will tell you, we have been seeing some prediction through our social media team, reports that are coming, that our company is receiving negative feedback on social media because of this product. So we don't need to progress or proceed producing this product. We need to change our strategy. Either issue a statement, do a recall of the product. So it's not all about like management, communication team, and social media. You bring all of them together. Yeah.
And talking about crisis and why it is important to incorporate communication teams like social media departments in strategy and even in decision making to levels as high as the board in the apex. Let us look at case examples of where some crises have not been handled very well. Probably it will be better if if teams were brought on board right from a planning strategy. Maybe any case examples in the recent times?
I can pick a case, the one for the right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga. I will pick that as a case study on how his death was communicated. That was part of the most tested, from my case and my end, the most tested case of crisis communication.
In a high profile?
On a high profile
person,
and I would
brand.
say, yes, on a brand.
Yeah.
So crisis has happened. there's speculation. People are like, where is Baba? You know, people started tweeting, where is Baba? Where is Baba?
Yeah.
And you see his communication team is still silent. The spokesperson is still silent.
Probably because they were not involved.
They were not involved. Because, you know, maybe people, they thought like, ule ni jamaa wa kamera tu, ule ni jamaa wa kutweet, so we don't need to inform them. So, but these are the people who have been monitoring what is happening, and in communication crisis happen, then there's we call communication vacuum.
Yeah.
So crisis has happened, then communication vacuum happens.
Then propaganda wins.
Yes. So the body is like, should we communicate this?
Yeah.
Should we remain silent? In a digital era, there will never be a vacuum. Previously, there will be. Maybe you wait for KBC Radio Taifa to announce in the evening.
Yes.
But crisis has happened, we enter into a stage called communication vacuum.
Yeah.
Now, the self-proclaimed journalists come.
Yes.
And they come with information. Like, we know Baba traveled to this point and this. So already the damage has happened.
Yeah.
So you are not coming to inform people.
Yeah.
You're coming to control that narrative so that you make sure that everything is coming into place. That's why we saw now they started acting, pushing some people like Oburu coming to camera to speak and say Baba is well.
Way after
yes.
a lot of propaganda has happened.
Like 3 to 4 days.
Yeah.
The conversation is up, but we have not received an official statement. And even someone was saying, if Baba is alive, let him speak on camera. That was the only way to kill this propaganda.
Yeah. Let's look at also the public sector.
Yeah.
We all know the first Adani arrangement with the Kenya Civil Aviation Authority and the management of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, whereby there was conversation going on about the Adani group of companies coming on board as investors in that facility, but communication failed in a way. Apart from many other issues around integrity and corruption, there was also the role of communication in handling the whole thing, because most of what people saw at the first time is denial that there is no deal being signed. And then as propaganda takes shape, now it's like damages were like trying to be sorted out. We see everyone making press conferences. We see many press releases that were quite not effective, perhaps because the damage was already too bad. Maybe how could you contextualize that situation of the Adani group on this issue called communication vacuum, crisis management, and involving communication teams in the apex of decision-making in companies?
There's that part where already a whistleblower has released an information.
Yeah.
So we have seen it before. The government, the first thing they will do, they will deny. Yeah? They will deny maybe sometime with less information. So it causes more damage. So what led is the whistleblower continue now updating with the real information, and you could verify this information is okay. Yeah. So in crisis communication also, when there is that information vacuum, people tend to identify with the loudest voice at that time, and this communication time with the account that is tweeting most. And you could see the one that was updating. So now people are believing this more than the one for the government. And to control that, a lot of things had to be done. Yeah. So the only way to say that what the whistleblower said it was wrong, it was to come with the right documents or the right information or the proof that this did not happen. But unfortunately, the government did not have something to counteract that.
Yeah.
And
they were not prepared to handle the whistleblowing.
Yeah.
They never saw it coming. It was not part of the strategy, because knowing that every government policy or development agenda is likely to attract political backlash, then the communication team was supposed to be involved to manage that kind of backlash.
Yeah. Especially for the government projects, there will always be politics.
Yeah.
So the first thing that you need to identify, you need to bring these people on board and tell them, this is what we are going to do. For example, the case for expansion of JKIA and many other good things that we were told it will do.
Yeah.
So then you ask yourself, will people receive this? And if they will not receive, how can we approach it? Okay? So the how to approach it is very important, because we will know if Simiyu, you are a political person, if you will be the first person to speak about this project, it will receive backlash. So let us not go that direction.
Yeah.
Let's identify maybe a technical person. The first person or the technical person, it will not work. We can identify by another person, identify a problem, simple, pin the problem. You say maybe JKI is having a lot of congestion when people are arriving. They say they receive more than 10 million guests per year, and there's a backlog. People are waiting, delayed flights.
Yeah.
That is a problem.
It should have been a strategy. It
Yes,
should have spoken about the problem continuously, consistently.
Yeah, then maybe after, because this is Kenya,
Yeah.
after a year now you bring and announce, we are having this contract, we are engaging this person. People are like, oh.
And you make it open, transparent.
Yeah, you make it open. So people will refer with the previous problem that they had. Not only the Adani thing, including all government projects like SHA failed because of the first person who communicated that. Because it was communicated with a politician. At the moment we see something is coming out of the mouth of a politician, we know this is a strategy to steal. You will
not consume it professionally. You will take it as politics. And it suffers political consequence.
Yes. The same case I remember KRA was to rebrand to
Kenya
KRS.
Revenue Authority.
To KRS.
And
that
to Kenya Revenue Service.
Just changing from A to S, it was costing billions of money. You know, for a local mwananchi to tell them we are going to change letter A to letter S, it will cost billions. They don't understand.
They didn't understand that it's more about the spirit of the authority. We are moving from being an authority to being a service.
And the cost comes here. All the system has to be rebranded because domains have to be changed. All the branding, either visibility has to be changed.
And
coloring, changing of colors and everything.
It's very expensive.
So the cost is coming to that billion.
So there was supposed to be strategic communication.
So they communicated
to advise the necessity of the cost.
So somebody say, how can we change from A to S? And it's costing billions.
But I want us to look at the positive communication projects in the public sector. Of course, we are restraining ourselves from talking about the private sector because because we might not have full privilege to talk about private sector safely. But let's look at successful examples of public sector where good communication has been handled to manage crisis. We all remember of the COVID breakout and how the Ministry of Health handled the breaking of the news that COVID is in Kenya to the management of every other measure that was taken. Some measures were very disruptive in terms of how people go about their daily lives. But eventually, somehow, because of good communication, the country was able to accept things like lockdowns, things like not going to public places like churches without rising up in protest. How do you rate the communication strategy around COVID? Personally, I think it's one of the best public sector communication strategies during a crisis.
Yes. Actually, for COVID, it was one of the successful crises that was handled through communication. Because number one, as I told you, who is the one who is going to communicate this information first? And we saw the first person communicating was the president, and with a lot of empathy, with a lot of telling people we are in, all of us are in here. Then the next thing we are going to hear, the country is closed.
And he was flanked by professionals, not politicians.
Not politicians. That time the Ministry of Health had the best communication team. Now they said, this one we are not going to allow any politician to handle this. That's why we saw people like Dr. Moth. They are the one who are reading the press.
Even Mercy Mwangangi is a professional.
Mercy Mwangangi is a profession reading the reports. So it's not only a Kagwe who is doing that job. Kagwe will just give like the national thing, then he will invite profession to talk about. When Dr. Moth came to speak, he was talking about, we call corporate jargon, so that the people in the health sector will align with him. And maybe for the issue of also just to see that we are balancing also gender, we see how Mercy used to communicate with that motherly, with that, like people felt like this is we are into this and you're going to overcome it. Then number three, they also incorporate other people like the journalists. That's when some of the health journalists were very popular and very familiar.
Dr. Mercy Korir.
Yes, Dr. Mercy Korir that time. And she was very on the front line, and we will see like she's reporting with the right information. As if he's a political journalist, it's hard for them to report a health issue. So the communication team was very strategic. That's why it was even easy for people to take the job.
Yeah.
Because if it could have failed from the word go, people like, no, we are not going to be locked
the
down.
job.
Then somebody maybe say these are end times, don't take that job.
Yeah.
And they involve everyone, including the church. That's why even we saw some of the churches embraced it. People took the vaccine, and people are allowed to stay in the house for the lockdown until it was safe.
Even the corporate sector complied by allowing their workers to stay home.
Yes. I
think it was a well-managed crisis in terms of communication, and we need more examples like that. Of course, in the corporate sector, we have many good, successful communications. In my personal opinion, I think the initial public offer of the Kenya Pipeline Company, they have tried in terms of public communication, though they spent a lot in communication. That is a story for another day. But in whether communication was delivered or not, I think they did a good job. And many other public sector projects in the parastatals after the Gen Z revolution of 2024. We have seen a lot of effort in public companies and parastatals owned by government. We have seen a lot of effort, and even from the Treasury Ministry, from the Ministry of Treasury and Planning, we have seen a lot of effort in making sure communication is done right. Because even the Gen Z revolution of 2024 that saw parliament being invaded by angry youth was largely it was largely about communication.
You have said I can give an example on that, but maybe just one example in the public sector. We have Kenya Airways.
Yes.
I love their communication team.
The pride of Africa.
Yes. No matter how they are failing.
Yes. No, so, business-wise, that's a story. But I think
their communication team is
doing a
very
good job.
good. And the early example I gave of Rao, you see how they manage that.
Yes.
Including caller sign, for the first time ever in history.
Yes.
And I am sure that was not from management, from a communication team.
Yeah.
Because they picked that from an X account. Somebody said this.
Or maybe a communication team that has been given space in management.
Yes, in management. Then a decision was made within, I think, 1 hour. Yes. Because it just came a tweet, somebody suggested.
Yeah.
This is a very prominent person. Can we just give them a caller sign?
Yes.
Then after 1 hour, we see a circular from...
now you talked about feedback from
feedback.
The social media manager. A social media manager being the person on the ground to give management feedback.
Yes. Then people want this. Yeah. Then we saw when the plane will get into Kenya territory, it will be caller signed. Then we saw RAO 001. No one ever in history.
And it was a great moment of patriotism.
Yes. And everyone we want to fly with KQ.
Yeah.
Yes. And people I want that. For the Gen Z, there are those things that were successful and the ones that were not successful because of communication. In an unfortunate event, I can give there's this guy who was shot, who was selling masks. How the government managed that crisis, I think it was one of the best in history. Because the first thing, they rushed to remove the guy from the scene, and they coded a nice message saying, the guy is recovering well, but we know, when your brain is on the ground, you are gone.
Yeah.
So they had to manage it slowly by slowly. But you can imagine if the commander will come and say, the guy is dead.
Yeah.
People will riot, and even it could have been worse. So they contain this scenario to a point so when people have cooled down, then they say the guy is normal.
Yeah.
They manage that.
They manage the process.
Yeah, including, though the one for... when the president communicated and said, "This is an organized group of goons." You see that
was wrong.
That only statement,
yeah,
it speed up, and people we have to go to the parliament.
Yeah, and that shows why leaders and managers should be able to cooperate with the advice from their communication experts.
Yeah, it's very important.
The way you take serious advice from your auditor, financial auditor, and the way you take advice from your doctor, you should take advice from your communication experts with that seriousness. Because after that statement by the president, the country was again up in arms.
Yeah. And that was June 25th, June. It's in memory.
It's in memory.
For the first time ever that people without bullets, without arrows, without pangas, they went to the parliament.
And invaded
it. Because of a
communication
and emotion containment. We saw some leaders, they were coming up, and some were very vocal now. on the social media, like Professor Kivuda Kibwana. I think that time he was very vocal on social media, and people were identifying with him. Like, this is the guy who is communicating. Like,
because he was communicating with empathy,
yes, and he
with
went
connection,
yeah,
and realistic. He was very realistic about the situation.
Yes.
He was not dodging the bullet.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Because he's like, yes, I am a politician,
Yes.
but we are into this.
Yes.
I can listen to you.
Yes.
And yes, we thank there are those people who are doing a good job also in the government, and so there are those who listen and maybe they told the president, we can have an X space. And I think that was the first time Kenya had the highest attendance of X space.
Of X, yeah.
Yeah, because somebody listened from the ground.
Yeah.
So like, this is what people want.
Yeah.
We don't need to go to the TV. We come, people will listen here.
Yeah.
So your communication team, as you have said, they are very important. The same way when an auditor will tell you that your accounts are not looking okay, it is the same way a corporate communication person, they'll tell you that our reputation is not okay because of a certain product. You listen to them.
Yeah.
Then you see how you can navigate around it.
Yeah. Now, Simiyu Nalianya, you are a communication expert, and we have given lots of examples from the public sector. But let's look at marketing managers versus options in terms of legacy and new media. Fast forward, you'll help us understand what is legacy and new media, but then also you'll help us to see how marketing managers are distributing marketing and campaign budgets between legacy and new media.
For the legacy media, from local Mwananchi, I will say it's the old tradition ways of doing advertisement.
Television.
Yeah, we have the television, we have buying airtime on radio, and also, this is my opinion, use of billboards.
Billboards.
Yes.
And newspapers.
And newspaper.
Okay.
So then we have the new media, the TikTok, the LinkedIn. Again, for example, you have been given a budget, let's say, of 5 million to push for a campaign, maybe for 3 months or for 6 months. So as a communication person, you need to think very fast on how to distribute that budget. You have to engage with the traditional media. This one for the sake of trust. Because in as much as people will see your content on TikTok, they also need to see, there are, like my parent used to tell me, they find you watching another TV station, then anakwambia weka news.
Yeah,
yes.
switch to news.
Yeah, akisema weka news, you know the station that they want to listen.
Yes.
So it means that when you push your content to that platform, people will see it like it's more credible as compared to the one that has been pushed on social media.
So there's credibility in legacy media.
Yes, you distribute your content like
and
that.
trust. People can be able to trust and connect and verify.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now the challenge with that is sometimes it can miss the target.
Okay.
For example, you pushed your advertisement at 1 p.m. for after news or 9 p.m. Not everyone is watching news at that time. Now that one you can curate through social media because we have the algorithm.
Yeah.
These are very powerful tools. So you put it maybe on YouTube, then you sponsor it. You just push the muscles of the social media platform. So the social media...
So is it safe to say that the legacy media is driven by loyalty?
Yes.
And digital media is algorithm-driven marketing.
Yes.
You don't have to be loyal. I don't have to follow you to see adverts that have been published on your platform. I don't need to follow a brand, let's say like Kenya Airways, to be able to see their ads. But their algorithms about my personal activities on the internet can make me be able to see ads from Kenya Airways, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
When we're introducing, said I prefer Siri, or you are a Samsung person.
I'll do Bixby.
Bixby.
Yeah.
Those are data mining tools that have been placed there so that phone will be able to know what you want, how you want it, and when you want it.
And how much I can spend on it.
Yes. They know when you wake up and when you sleep.
Yeah. Actually, Bixby tells me this is what you missed when you are away.
So it means that when I send a targeted campaign, it will reach you at the right time. Your phone knows when you are depressed and when you are happy.
And it knows my heartbeat.
Yes. So it means if you are depressed, they cannot send you another content of depression.
Okay.
So they will have to come up with other content that will make you to be happy.
Yeah.
If you are a person, maybe you are in finance and you love investing and spending, you will never see content of people spending in a flashy life.
In terms of ads, they'll
Yes.
want to curate.
Yes, so they will
content.
give you content about saving,
Yes.
about finance, about people prospering and building wealth.
Okay.
So it means when you sponsor a target on social media platform, whatever platform that you have, and the most powerful now, the TikTok, it will reach you at the right time and at the right mood also.
And at the right mood.
Yes, and also the return for
Yeah.
investment,
Yeah.
it will be high. Though sometimes I tell people, especially for business that are starting,
Yeah.
you take it with caution also, because also this company are out here to make money.
Yes.
So if your brand is starting, don't rush to sponsor ads first.
Yes.
We call
Organic
it
growth.
organic growth.
Yeah.
Give it 1 month, 2 months, push to your friends.
So cheat the algorithms.
Yes, so you cheat the algorithm in this way. I can just give a small example on how you can cheat the algorithm. This is a new product that you have come with. For example, you want to sell this watch.
Yes.
So you will come up with 5 different content. So you say this content will go on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, different content for a whole week, for 5 days. Then you give yourself a target of 1 month. The next week, you revise the content that went on Monday, you put it on Tuesday as you reshuffle for 4 weeks. After a month, I say that social media managers, they are not just for likes and comments. You now analyze the data. So it will show you which post had the highest engagement, even with different changing of times and dates. Then you sponsor that. It's like now you reward that post.
Yeah.
You don't just, because this is a video you have created, you sponsor it.
Yeah.
You give it first, you see how it's performing your algorithm. Now when you sponsor that content, it means now it will reach the right people, because the algorithm will know this content is targeted for the young people.
Yeah.
But if you just sponsor blindly, the content that were meant for the young people, it will go to the old people, and you will not sell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And talk about budgets. You have a budget as a marketing manager. How will you distribute that budget between new and old media and the various platforms that we have in new media?
I can say you can do 50, 30, 20.
50, 30, 20.
Yeah.
What's that?
So 30% you put it on the legacy media. Then
Because legacy is expensive
yeah,
anyway.
it's expensive. So you just maybe want one platform. You cannot get maybe all TV stations.
It's legacy. You are investing in legacy.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that your name can be said that you
Yeah.
advertise on this channel. Then the 20% will say distribute it on influencer.
Influencers.
Though that also take with caution, because you can be washed.
Yeah.
Because also these people
You need to understand what they represent.
Yes, what they represent, and
who
also
they
the
associate
genuine
with.
of their numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Numbers can be numbers.
Yes, people can buy numbers.
People can buy
So somebody
numbers.
will say, I have 10 million followers on TikTok.
Yes.
But they talk about your product, but you don't sell at all.
Yeah.
Okay, because most of the
It's not a community. It's one thing to have numbers. It's
And
another thing to have a
yes,
community
yes.
around your numbers.
yeah. Then the 50% you have to distribute on social media platform.
Okay.
Because this one is the one that you train.
Oh, so social media will take more than legacy.
Yes.
Okay.
Because social media involves a lot of things.
Yeah.
There are subscriptions that you have to make. Maybe an X premium account,
Yes.
LinkedIn premium account if you're
Okay.
doing the hiring. So it will take a bigger part of your
Yeah.
budget.
Yeah.
And this is like a sure bet, it has a return for investment.
Yeah.
But also, if you don't have like a bigger budget, there's something we call founders videos and content.
Yeah.
Okay, people trust when a founder talk about their product more as compared when you have sponsored it through an influencer. Okay, so that budget for an influencer you can also push to the founders videos and content, so that you make sure that
we know most of these banks being among the leading brands in Kenya. And anytime you see them releasing financial reports, you'd see the person at the very helm being the face of those releases, of those reports. Is that part of this founders videos and content?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, people trust when you talk about your product.
Yeah.
And we have seen other big brands, they have a bad backlash, including McDonald's,
McDonald's,
and because they like We have never seen your CEO eating at these premises.
Yeah.
Or we have seen even cases where people are questioning, why is it that these big tech companies, we don't see their family using the product that they're selling us?
Yeah.
So when
but we see Elon Musk tweeting.
yes, you see now.
And we also see him driving in
Yes,
Tesla
we see
cars.
him driving Cybertruck. We see him using Starlink.
Yeah.
We see him using, the
Grok.
guy is a CEO, multi-billion, but he's
Yes.
always on X.
Yeah.
Because like he owns the product. So people trust, even if it might not be the good platform, but people trust because the founder is here. You have talked about our Kenyans, even the bank industry.
Yeah. No, I saw when WhatsApp is down, they communicate through X.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah. Also, YouTube has an account on TikTok.
Yes.
So, an example like, let's say, like Equity Bank.
Yes.
You will see James Mwangi is always there.
He's the face of the bank.
He's the face of the bank.
You can feel it.
You cannot talk about Equity without mentioning James Mwangi.
Yeah.
And many others. So you can take that as an example, even as a founder. There are things that you need to speak.
To own.
Yeah.
You own it first before other guys.
Yeah, and if you can't own it, sometimes your team can, that's why communication teams comes in. They can train you, they can show you how to do it. We have seen even a company like MTN in Uganda. You'll see Sylvia Mulinge. She's always there showing behind the scenes, even with her account and also the account for the company. And the results are there.
Yeah, the results are there. Now, Simiyu, what role can communication managers play in helping organizations be resilient? Because every time we see companies closing down or exiting a market like Kenya, we will always blame it on things like over-regulation. We will blame it on factors like financial challenges. We'll blame it on many other factors. But communication has a role in marketing and competitiveness. So how can communication managers help companies to be resilient in changing times?
They play a bigger role, especially doing the monitoring, because you will not just wake up and say the company is closing.
Yeah.
There are many things that there are indicators that will say the management ignored, especially feedback, because it means if you are closing down, you are not selling. What are some of the things that are making you not to sell? It's people are not embracing your product. We have companies that they are taxed heavily. We have companies that their product are very expensive in the market, but people still buy it because of how the
people have embraced.
People have embraced and how it's communicated. For example, Safaricom is a very expensive product.
Yeah.
But despite that, people are still going there.
Yeah.
It's because of communication.
Yeah.
So there are indicators that a communication manager will tell you that is very important for you to check. How are people talking about our brand? So maybe it's a product that you release in the market and it has not received a positive reception. So what you do, that is communicated to the production team and they have to work on it. If they ignore, it means that people will not continue to buy that product. Or if they have to change that product, they can do a recall. We see like phone company, cars company, they do recall.
Even Boeing has done recalls.
Yes, even Boeing has done recalls.
Yeah.
And you see even companies like Mercedes, they will do a recall, but they will not just leave you there. They will say, we have seen patterns in your car, because also they have trackers. Patterns in this batch numbers of cars that were released in the market, they are receiving this hitch. And this is not the consumer problem, it's our problem. So what they do, they recall it at the expenses. So they will tell you, the vehicles will be recalled, then they will send others, so they will do a refund.
And that will help them to survive in the market.
Yes. Yeah. So what that will mean, people like, oh, these people, they care about us. We have seen even some of medical companies. They do, if there's a problem, they recall. But if you come with a defensive mechanism, like I remember the case of a certain biscuit company. This lady came and say, nowadays the biscuit is 3 in the packet. She discovered the biscuit is 3.
It's 3, yeah.
So what the company did...
Someone called it shrinkonomics.
Yes, yeah. So
Shrink economics.
Yeah, so what the company did, instead of...
And the biscuits were not supposed to be 3. They were supposed to be like 5.
Yeah, 5. So
Yeah.
instead, the company, to address that and to apologize, they went and looked for the contact of the mother of that lady and sent some threats through legals. So, you know, these are Gen Z. She comes again to TikTok and say, my parents are being threatened because I raised an issue about this biscuit. What happened? They made losses because people like boycott this product. So they had to involve the communication team.
Yeah.
So the communication team came and they had very nice package and they sent her a gift. Yes, she changed the tune. So that's very critical for a communication team.
Yeah.
So if you ignore, you will face off the market,
out,
including the case of, because this is in the public domain, even Quick Mart.
Yes.
There's a time they charged a certain kid, they said she stole 20 liters of milk in a very bad environment, and sending somebody to such kind of a treatment, it was bad. So instead of Quick Mart coming and apologizing first, well, you know the theory, crisis communication theory, the one that I said, the communication vacuum, it took place, and it's on TikTok.
Yeah.
TikTok is crazy with the algorithm. So before Quick Mart came and apologized, they said they have done layoff for the branch manager and the team that were involved. Then people cooled down, and many other cases in Kenya we have seen. So communication play very
important. Now, still on examples, we cannot forget to talk about Shell and Astral and how a crisis was created by someone who visited a station and did an analysis, a comparison between Astral and Shell. And it became a big thing on social media. And we saw Astral picking it up in terms of what you call the founder story and building a brand out of it and creating more market share for themselves. But also Shell countering it, countering the narrative that was being created on social media by constantly communicating about their products. I think they didn't defend themselves. They first accepted the challenge to audit, and after auditing, they gave a report.
So that prolonged the time of responding to that crisis. That's why we had the communication vacuum.
So there was a communication vacuum still.
So Astral picked that and they had the free marketing of their life. So before Shell responded, they had already made profit, and people were like, let's go and confirm. You know, they're not just coming and seeing.
But I don't think it was that easy for Shell to respond immediately.
Yes.
Looking
also,
at how...
this is a big company.
Yeah, it's a big company.
It's a big company. You don't respond immediately. You can respond immediately, and it causes another havoc.
You create a new crisis.
Yes. So in as much as we need to have that promptness, you have also to take time. For example, like a construction...
Timing.
Yeah, timing is very important. Like a construction company. You have, if they say the building collapse, you just come and say, no, it's not true. This time, this audit has to be done. Their expert needs to be there. For Shell, their petroleum expert come to do, and audit has to be done. Then they say these are...
So that
verified.
you are factual.
So for that to move fast, you just need the communication person to be in the management. Because they will telling you, yes, these are the results and these are the comments from the ground. This is what is going on. So that when you come and communicate your results, it's also aligned with what has been happening at the ground. You know, you can be separate so much. You come and release a circular with your evidence, then it backfires. And people are like, no, we don't want this one.
I want us to finish. I'll be asking you one more question. But before that, there's a popular comparison of how Trump announces when he has, let's say, killed a threat to the US and how Obama does it. When Obama, he calls it this delivering justice to Osama bin Laden, quote unquote. Obama did it in quite a unique way compared to how Trump did it. I don't know if you have those clips in your memory and how they were running, but you'd see also political leaders managing communication in different ways. When I look at Obama talking about the US forces capturing Osama bin Laden and this delivering justice to bin Laden, being the mastermind of the 9/11, and how Trump takes up the issue of Soleimani, I don't even remember that case, in his first regime, and later on in the issue with Iran, you see an emotive scenario because these are nations fighting. There is potential for world war, but you see different styles of communication among political leaders. Maybe people can go and read that because we do not have much time to continue with this podcast. We have to wind down. But I'll just ask my guest, Mr. Simiyu Nalianya, to advise those who are aspiring to join the corporate communication space as experts, as consultants like yourself. What skills must they arm themselves with?
When you go through the Kenyan curriculum, you really meet communications, corporate communication or development communication in your career path. You can meet them after you graduate, unless you did communication in your degree level or a diploma. So as a communication person, be very good with your communication skill because you are the person who is training, guiding, and also advising your technical team. These are your CEO, the board, and the engineers and medics in your field. Know what needs to be said, how to be said, and when to be said. Have skills in content creation. This camera operation, like taking of photos, videos. It will help you, especially when you don't have a budget to hire somebody and your department is small. Then knows nitty-gritties of edit work. Because as a communication person, you are the one who controls the brand. What colors needs to go, when and how, the fonts. And also have the basic needs of website management, especially on sites like WordPress. It will save you big. Sometimes an information needs to go very quickly and the developer is not available.
Yeah.
So it will dent your department. But the last and very important, have good relationship with the media team.
Yeah.
The traditional media.
Yeah.
Because these are the people who will build your brand and also they can crush your brand anytime.
Yeah.
So have those contact, attend their conference, support them. Yeah, it will come big and it will save you, especially when you need them most during a crisis.
During a crisis.
Yeah.
Simiyu Nalianya will keep on talking about communication because it's a big field, and we've been privileged to have you at the Executive Review podcast. And I think we should have this session again. There's a famous quote about communication that I like. They say that great leaders communicate and great communicators lead. And that's where we leave today's conversation. I would want to welcome our viewers to also contribute the various cases or scenarios or crises that you have seen online and in media that has either been poorly handled or well managed, and comment about how you felt about them and what you can do if you are the communication manager. Thank you for viewing and subscribe. Keep in touch with us. This is the Executive Review Podcast. I've been your host, Rick Okinda.